Have you ever wondered what happens when a lifelong dream of adventure just completely crashes into a reality that's stranger than you could ever imagine? Well, today, we're diving into the first chapter of a true classic, Gulliver's Travels, to see how one man's journey goes from hopeful to shipwrecked to, well, to becoming a giant prisoner.
Right from the start, we meet Lemuel Gulliver, and this one line tells you everything you need to know about him. For Gulliver, this isn't just some passing fancy, It's deep in his bones. It's this powerful longing that's going to pull him away from everything safe and familiar and toss him into a world that is, wow, just beyond belief.
So before he's this legendary traveler we all know, who is this guy, really? You might be picturing some rough-and-tumble explorer, but that's not him. Not at all. He's a scholar, a doctor, a family man, someone who seems destined for a pretty quiet, normal life.
I mean, look at his early life. It's surprisingly practical. The guy is clearly brilliant, right? He heads off to Cambridge when he's just 14 years old to study medicine and navigation. But then life happens. The family money dries up and he has to leave. So what does he do? He pivots. He combines his medical training with that itch for travel and becomes a ship's doctor. And this is it, his first real taste of the adventure he's been dreaming of.
But, he really does give the settled life a shot. He gets married, he opens his own medical practice in London, and he tries to put all that sailing behind him. But this is where the real struggle begins. That dream of seeing the world is clashing head-on with a pretty grim reality. His business is failing, and he's just completely disgusted by the dishonest colleagues all around him. The quiet life? Turns out it's totally suffocating him.
So, after a few more years at sea, Gulliver is finally ready to call it quits for good. He's done. But right at that moment, just as he's about to hang it up, an offer comes along. It's this irresistible callback to the one part of him that never stopped dreaming of faraway places.
And there it is, the call to adventure he just can't say no to. The captain of the ship, the Antelope, doesn't just offer him a paycheck. He offers a promise, exciting places. For a guy who's feeling trapped and restless, that promise is everything. It's a lifeline.
And just like that, his decision is made. He says his goodbyes, leaves London behind, and steps back onto the deck of a ship. He's sailing toward a future that is going to be so much stranger than anything he ever dreamed of.
For months, the journey is perfect. It's exactly what he wanted. Calm seas, open horizons, just smooth sailing. But, the ocean can turn on you in an instant. And all of that peace and quiet is about to be completely shattered.
Just 4 simple words, but they change everything. The dream of adventure is officially over. From here on out, it's just a desperate, brutal fight to survive.
This is it. The ultimate nightmare for any sailor. The Antelope, his ticket to discovery, is now a sinking wreck. He and 6 other crewmates managed to scramble into a tiny lifeboat, this one little sliver of hope in the middle of a raging storm. But that hope doesn't last long. A monster wave comes out of nowhere, flips the boat, and Gulliver is thrown into the churning sea. He never sees the other men again. In that moment, he is completely, terrifyingly alone. For hours, he just swims, pushed to the absolute edge of human endurance. And just when he's about to give up, his feet touch sand. He manages to drag himself onto a shore. No idea where he is, nothing around but grass. He's so exhausted, he doesn't even look around. He just collapses and falls into a deep, deep sleep. He wakes up hours later. The sun is out, the storm is gone, but the danger has just been replaced by something way, way stranger. He's woken up in a quiet, confusing, and honestly, a terrifying new reality. It's the only thought racing through his mind. Where on earth am I? He tries to get up, to just take a look around. But he can't move. At all. Something is seriously wrong. He's not just stranded, he's been captured. Every single part of his body is pinned to the ground, but not with big, heavy chains. Oh no. He's been tied down by his own hair, and by thousands of tiny little ropes no thicker than a piece of thread. And all around him, he can hear these strange, timey voices. And then he sees them, his captors. The moment is so completely absurd, it's almost funny. The people crawling all over him are barely 15 centimeters tall. You could hold one in the palm of your hand. This is a miniature army, and they are definitely not friendly. They let loose a volley of tiny little arrows that sting his skin like needles. In a split second, his entire world has been flipped on its head.
He's a giant, and he's been taken captive by a civilization of tiny warriors. So his welcome is a pretty painful one. But after a bit, the hostility starts to die down. His captors seem to realize he's not about to crush them all, and so their strategy changes from attack to management. They've got a giant on their hands, and now they have to figure out what in the world they're going to do with him.
And what they do next is just incredible. Once he shows he's not a threat, they start taking care of him. They bring him these huge baskets of food, and they're just amazed that he eats more in one meal than 1,000 of them could. And then comes the biggest job of all, moving him. They have to build a special cart and use hundreds of their tiny horses just to drag him to their capital city.
And it's here that he finally learns the name of this bizarre new place, Lilliput. They take him to the capital city and put him up in the largest building in the entire kingdom, which turns out to be an old temple that's still too small for him to even stand up in.
The logistics of it all are just mind-boggling. I mean, think about this. Just to make a bed for him, they have to sew together 600 of their own beds. Imagine the sheer effort. It's a pretty clear sign they've gone from seeing him as a monster to seeing him as, well, as a massive, very complicated guest.
And this right here, this is the whole point of this first chapter, isn't it? Back in London, Gulliver was nobody special, just an ordinary guy, a doctor who wasn't doing so well. But here, in Lilliput, without changing a single thing about himself, he is a giant, a living monument. His entire identity has been completely transformed just by changing his location.
And that leaves Gulliver, and all of us, with a really powerful question. The Lilliputians are feeding him, sure, but he's still their prisoner. His very size makes him both a marvel to be studied and a monster to be feared. So it makes you think, right? When you find yourself in a world that wasn't built for you, are you a marvel or are you a monster? Your identity is no longer up to you. It's up to them.